Hey everybody, neighbor Doug here. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. Today we've got a headline segment for you from one of our recent episodes. And in that headline, we talk about what to do when date night gets between the spreadsheets. Yeah, baby, yeah. Oh, you know that's where you want date night to go. Great discussion with Joe, OG, and I. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. You got to like this so that all the other stackers and non-stackers get to see this video, and click on that little bell so you get reminded when we've got some more great stuff for you. Let's listen in.
What I love is the title of this piece, When Date Night Gets Between the Spreadsheets. I can have my Excel spreadsheet open while Barry White's playing.
I don't know about that.
To tweet the move for pouring over budgets and savings goals, Tiara Bates and her husband Gregory get dressed to the nines and head to dinner at a fancy steakhouse. Quote, "We're discussing things, but we're celebrating at the same time," said Bates, a school therapist and real estate agent in Shelby, North Carolina, "treating ourselves while still talking about the goals we have in mind." This mix of romance and finance been dubbed a money date by financial advisors and others in the business of building wealth. The idea is to carve out time for the sort of conversations couples often dread by making an event to look forward to. Well, you know who embraces this, OG. They're singing off my song sheet.
Yes, that's why I saw it. I was like, this'll really tickle Joe's feathers, as they say.
For people that are new to the show, I
Speaking
strongly
of date night.
I'm sure there are people listening to this on date night right now. Like, let's snuggle up and listen to Stacking Benjamin show. But Cheryl and I fully embrace this weekly money chat that's only 20 minutes long. You set a timer. As soon as 20 minutes is done, it's over, especially money geeks. For the money geeks out there, your spouse often doesn't want to have this conversation. What question we get over and over, OG? We get,
how do I get my significant other to be interested in this?
And I'll say this, the number one way to get your spouse excited about this is to stop boring the out of them, right? Just stop. Cause I know, the second that I say, "Hey, you want to hear something cool?" Cheryl immediately rolls her eyes cause she knows it's going to be a money thing. She's like, no, hard pass. Do not want to hear something cool.
As she runs out of the room screaming.
Yes, please don't. So we agreed it would be 20 minutes. And then what's neat is when we hit the 20-minute mark and things are going really well after a few of them, like Cheryl wants to continue, I try to make sure that, nope, we're done. Keep it fun. Don't get sucked into the path of, oh, she's really into it. So now we'll go an hour and a half. Now I'll bring out the stuff. And all we do on the money date, OG, is we look at last week's expenses, talk through those, and then we talk about what we're going to spend money on the next week. We don't even have the big chats. We save that for a couple times a year. We just have the little chats. And I find the big chats happen organically if the little things occur.
And I think you also pair it with some sort of food, right? I mean, you turn this into, breakfast or dinner or something like that.
Ours is a little more downscale, though. We don't get dressed to the nines. Yeah, we go to either IHOP and have pancakes. Not kidding. Our money dates at IHOP, or we'll have it over wine in our dining room with some music playing.
I did like in the article where they said, they get all dressed up and go to a fancy steakhouse. Let's talk about ways we're wasting money
on a $400 dinner.
That's right. Are you kidding me? We'll get the most expensive wine with that.
One of the things that I liked Aaron Sky Kelly talked about, was that just last week?
A couple of weeks ago.
Was that, when you sit down to have these talks, don't use it as an opportunity to point out how your spouse is doing something wrong with your money. That, I think she talked, that was sort of the way I paraphrase it or the way I interpreted it. But a lot of people will have that talk or go to therapy and they're hoping that the therapist will agree with them that they're right and that their spouse is wrong. And you can have that same wrong approach with this date night between the spreadsheets, where you're really hoping to talk through something and hope that your spouse understands why them spending money on whatever they value is incorrect. That's going to backfire on you.
Oh, every time.
Yeah.
Every time. I like how they talk about halfway through this piece, the art and science of the money date. Turning financial planning into a date might sound like a mismatch, but science backs up the premise. It's a form of temptation bundling. Well, what that means is you're pairing a less exciting task. What are they talking about? Budgets, less exciting task.
Now.
Huh? What?
There is one.
Doing my taxes. That's amazing.
With a more exciting reward. So take the less exciting thing, pair it with a more exciting reward. Research suggests can actually help people change their habits, said Scott Rick, associate professor of marketing at the University of Michigan. But I do agree with that. OG, I mean, I think about Atomic Habits, right? And when we had James Clear on, and James Clear talking about you want something to become a habit, pair it with something that already is a habit, attach it on, and before you know it, the habit's there.
Tied together. And, financial planning is you were talking about the big things, right? When we think about the big things of planning, but the reality is that it's the collection of all the little things. It's making sure that your bills are paid on time. It's making sure that your credit score is, where it should be. It's making sure that you're not paying too much interest on your consumer debt and trying to pay that stuff off. It's making sure that you have interest on your savings and checking account. That wasn't a thing for 15 years. And now people are waking up to recognize, hey, I've got my emergency fund sitting at Bank of America at 0.01%, and the money market fund in the brokerage account's paying 5.5%. It's those things that happen in between the big discussions of, I think I want to retire in 20 years, or I think we want to send the kids to college and we want to pay for this part of it. It's all of the little decisions that happen that kind of move you to the big goal. And if you're not having a format for having those little decisions or those little discussions to stay on track, then you're just hoping that you're pointed in the right direction once every 5 or 6 years when you actually sit down and go, I should probably look at my 401k and rebalance this. It's been a decade.
Yeah. If you turn this into just a little tiny thing instead of this big, huge thing in your head, the blocks don't come like they will. The longer you put it off, the worse that gets, which is funny because we avoid money often, OG, to avoid stress. And yet the longer we avoid it, the more stressful it becomes.
Yeah. And it's this ongoing, like building wave of chaos that's coming your way that you can see in slow motion, right? It's like, you knew the first month that you didn't pay off your credit cards. You know what I mean? Like think about cash flow, or you think about inflation or whatever, and you go, well, there was a month when, I didn't do it. And instead of addressing it right then and going, okay, I've got to get ahead of this right now, it was like, oh, I'll just kind of bury my head in the sand for the next 36 months. And that's how you wake up and you go, like, holy crap, how did I end up with 40 grand in credit card debt? Well, what's that phrase? I went bankrupt very slowly at first and then very quickly at the end. It's like, that's how it happens, right? It's like, it was very slow. It was a slow burn of that issue, let's say. And then all of a sudden it's like, and boom, now I have 40 grand of debt. Like, what do I do with that?
But I think we can also take the flip side of that, which is that you got to give yourself a little grace too. It took a long time to get where you are. You're not going to get there overnight. This isn't going to be one money meeting or two money meetings. And taking it just a little bit at a time, you'll find yourself with these, let's quote the Mr. Ramsey, with the baby steps. You'll find yourself back on track, but your brain's got to get there first.
Well, and that's kind of my point with all of it to begin with. If you look at that big goal of, if you're 35 and you say, I think I want to be financially independent when I'm 65. I've got 30 years, and you sit down and you do the math and you go, and I only need $4 million. And then you look in your brokerage account or your 401k and you're like, and I've got 61,000 today.
Or I've got 61.
I'll never make it. And you just kind of go, ugh, gross, right? It's not about the 4 million or the 60,000 or the $60. It's about the fact that tomorrow you need to enroll in your 401k and contribute up to the match. It's that you have to, make sure that your cash is in a place that's going to earn interest. It's, it's these little things that you can do week to week, or meeting to meeting, one task, just point it in the right direction and just begin rowing.
Yet another great headline segment. Interesting topic, too. Hey, let's keep this going in the basement. Join our Facebook basement group and let us know what you and your partner do to get between the spreadsheets. But look, let's keep it down the fairway here, folks. I don't need to know what... Well, actually, that could be kind of... Anyway, just tell us how you have your money date night and let the rest of the Stacker community know what a great way is to talk about your money situation with your partner. Thanks again for joining us, and we will have a lot more about this topic in our newsletter, The 201, written by Kevin Bailey. So subscribe to that. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video so other people see it, and hit that bell so you get reminded when I'm coming back.